speaking at the 12th edition of the Education Summit organized at the Leela Palace in Bengaluru on 6th August 2022, Mr. Ashok Gowda, Managing Director, Edify School, Bengaluru, spoke to the Education Times and shared his thoughts about the summit on the new education policy NEP 2020 and is there a need to bridge the gap between the government and private sector in order to implement the NEP. Let's hear his thoughts.
So ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Mr. Ashok Gowda, Managing Director, Edify School, Electronic City, Bengaluru. Welcome to the summit, sir. How's your experience at the 12th Education Summit?
Amazing. Actually, I never expected that Time2Grow is doing such a great work, and the kind of the discussions they have and the kind of the presentations they have and the entire exhibition itself is an awesome experience, and one as an educationalist we should come and attend this and be part of such summits. So it will help us to understand what is a new technology, what are the new things which is happening in education sector.
Absolutely. So sir, what are your thoughts on the new education policy?
The most needed policy which for India, so which will obviously change the scenario. See, let's assume that 20 years from down the line or 30 years from down the line, as what we are thinking, the revolutionary LPG policy by P.V. Narasimha Rao in 1991-92. Similarly, NEP of 2020, we will remember Modi. And Modi's government has the sea change which has happened. The mindset of the students will change now, and the scenario on the ground, the way we think will also change. Apparently, what we were living for was livelihood, but instead of that, the philosophy of human being is that we should live for soul upliftment. So, which was there in Gurukul education system. Apparently, Gurukul education system was destroyed by Mackilley education system, and the same Gurukul education system was reconstructed as International Brackele, and they are charging as a bomb. And as we also do inquiry-based learnings, but that is also a costly affair for a normal Indian. I mean to say LIG, EWS and BPL people, it's a dream. So of course for an MIG or an HIG or HNIs, they can always afford it. But even MIG also, they cannot afford the IB schools. So MIG can afford to an extent inquiry-based schools. But below that, what happens? Because majority of the Indians are in this sector, lower MIG and below. So for them, NEP will help. So it will make an inquiry-based learning in every school, and every school will develop an human being, not a machine to produce something.
Right.
So that is NEP.
Right. So just wanted to ask if for the better implementation of NEP, should we need to bridge the gap between the government and the private sector?
Definitely. See, what is happening is government thinks that private means they are the loot masters. They are here for the business, but apparently not. Private people, 75%. See, we are private guys are running around 46% of the schools in the entire country, and 75 to 76% of the students are with the private schools. Whereas government schools, even though they are 54%, the people who are attending the schools are 24 to 25% only. So now NEP, whether it is NEP or otherwise also, private had a bigger role to play. What is the problem is, the government means it's a secured job and they cannot be thrown out, and skills cannot be uplifted.
Right.
Very rarely people were involved. So there were cases like 2-3% were really good in government schools also. But apparently that is not solving the problem. So what needs to be done is, now private schools and government schools, instead of competing with each other, they should work in clusters, which is proposed in NEP. Right. That cluster of the pool of schools, for example, one IB school, one IGCSE, few CBSE, few state government, few government schools, few unaided and aided schools will be together in a cluster, and they will sit together, and everybody has their own strength. For example, government schools have their own strength. The zeal or the grit which will be there in a student of government school may not be there in a IB school, because they are coming from a comfort level. The grit is not there in the student. So when you see a grit student in a government school, they can collaborate together and they can say, he can pass on the grit to you. You can pass on the skills of life skill or the communication skill. The communication skill what is there with an IB school will not be there with a government kid. So these are the skills which need to be collaborated, and how this is how we need to, at the end of the day, we should have one motto: nation building and social building and spiritual thought in the mind, human spiritual thought in the mind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable thoughts. We hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you.